So, why is some random truck driver, that's me, deciding suddenly to broadcast his thoughts to the world? And why should you be interested? I mean, truck drivers, what do they know? What do I know? What's the chance of a truck driver giving some important piece of advice or information or news that couldn't be found from someone with a PhD in economics or some political scientist or the many other people who talk on YouTube? Well, I listen to things all day, every day. I listen to podcasts and I listen to audiobooks, many different audiobooks. I may even list them at some point online. Um, and therefore I'm learning every day, all day, every day. I drive for hours and I'm listening for hours. Sometimes I listen to some music. I never listen to commercial radio because it's stupid. Or the BBC, who's non-commercial radio. Don't listen to that either. It's now rubbish. Every now and then I'll listen to talk radio, and that's it. And I don't watch TV, and I do read books, actual real books, um, like Isaac Asimov. Is this the wrong way around? It's inverted. Oh, never mind. Yeah, so I am learning all of the time, and this needs to come out. I just need to say it, and I would like to say it to the people I meet, but I don't meet many people because I'm driving around. Then I meet other truck drivers, and we talk about some things, and I start ranting about something, and they slowly start walking away. Anyway, so I thought I'd do the same with the internet and put stuff on YouTube. Right. Um, One group of people I listen to are people who are not talking to me. They are specifically talking to people with a lot more money than me, frankly. And these are people talking about investments, and they are talking about the financial world. Um, and they're an interesting group of people to talk to because they're not from one political side. You might think they're right wing. I suppose some of them are quite libertarian, if insofar as they have political views. But they talk about things, important things, on a factual basis. And it's a struggle for me to understand. I have difficulty understanding these people. I'm not a trained economist. Some of them would say that's an advantage. I don't have that much experience with the markets and these kind of things. But I feel I need to understand. I'm fed up with things being easy to understand and pandering to my prejudices. I'm fed up with listening to stuff which is basically aimed at the lowest common denominator. BBC Radio 2, I'm looking at you. So I don't listen to that. I listen to stuff that's a struggle, that's difficult to understand. And one group of people who are difficult to understand are these financial wizards. Some of them whom are very wealthy, I understand. And the reason I feel it's important to understand them is because it's something that's going on it's going on in the world, and for most people, it's going on under the surface. We don't really we have some inkling of this, but for the most part, certainly me, don't understand money. I didn't understand where money came from. I didn't understand that money was mostly generated by the banks and not by the governments. I didn't understand central banking. I didn't understand quantitative easing. I didn't didn't understand any of this. I didn't understand the scale, the sheer insane scale. We have a cognitive problem where the word million, billion, and trillion sound the same. But of course, they're 1,000 degrees different. They're times 1,000 different, rather, at each stage. And to understand a trillion, and our governments are now talking in trillions of dollars and pounds and yen and what have you, it is almost unimaginable. It's very close to being like infinity. And I want to understand this. What I am understanding now is we are living in a very, very financially fragile world, and to be frank, our politicians have been lying to us about it, or at least happy that we don't understand. I don't think it's a mistake that the money supply, which dominates our lives, is incredibly important. You know, what you get paid and what you pay out is what you gear your life around for the most part. I think it's not a coincidence that we are not taught this stuff in schools. We are not taught this stuff anywhere. We're not taught it by the mainstream media. But it's immensely important. And one thing I'm getting from these guys, and I've just been listening to this video, a YouTube channel called Wealthian, clearly not aimed at me, and a chap is being interviewed there called Luke Gromen, and he's outlining basically how the world as we know it could fail, could just stop. And what I mean by that is money stops working. Either it inflates away in its value, its delivery and use becomes chaotic, or the system just stops functioning. And I think the system is has stopped functioning at different levels at the moment. I'll make another video about the supply chain, which is something I know a little bit more about, being a truck driver. Because there's immense problems there, and of course it's connected to money because everything needs to be paid for. Yeah, I'll make another video about that. I won't start talking about that now. But what I'm getting in essence from these guys is our entire way of life is driving towards a number of different cliff edges, not just one, but a number of different things that could simply fail. And because people don't understand this, because I haven't understood this, and voters don't understand this, governments don't want them to, and they want us to think everything's going great, and they stand up in front of us and say, well, the economy's growing, without actually describing what that means. You know, you blow air into a balloon, it's growing, it doesn't mean it's not going to burst. Just because something's growing doesn't make it better. And all politicians from all sides, left and right, have done this, and I think they've done this intentionally. Either that or they are ignorant. Anyway, so I thought I'd make this video simply to relay that which I believe I've learnt, which is not being described elsewhere, and I think is much more important than a lot of the conversations we have between left and right about different illnesses and lockdowns and so on. With my conspiracy hat on, this is not a conspiracy hat, this is from France, with my conspiracy hat on, I would start to think perhaps the response to this respiratory illness is not actually about dealing with the illness. It's about controlling the population for when the monetary system stops or fails in some way. But I don't know. Like I say, it's very easy to be tempted into conspiracy theories. In brief, we are heading into very precarious times, according to some very clever people that not enough people are listening to. And I thought I'd relay that information and thank people like Luke Gromen, George Gammon, Macro Voices. I'm name checking these things so other people can go and look them up, and it's concerning, and I thought I'd let whoever is interested know those concerns. Bye.